Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an Arabian Sand Boa named Fatima. Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa lived in a huge desert where the sand stretched as far as the eye could see. She wasn't just any little snake. She was known for her clever ways of hiding beneath the hot desert sand. Fatima was small, with a round, plump body and tiny, sparkling eyes that peeked out just above the sand. But Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa had a little secret. Although she was mostly active at nighttime, she loved to sneak in some time during the day and loved to play with the sun. Every day, the sun would rise high in the sky, beating down on the hot desert. And every day, Fatima would wriggle out from under the cool, soft sand and play in the sunshine. She would twist and twirl, making little patterns in the sand with her wiggly body. All the other Arabian Sand Boas didn't quite like being out in the sun like Fatima. Normally, they would hide in the sand to get away from the sun. But not Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa. Fatima would laugh while she danced around in the hot sunlight, and its bright rays would warm her from head to tail. Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa loved the feeling of the sun on her scales, and she would play for hours, completely forgetting about the world around her. Now, Arabian Sand Boas, like Fatima, are excellent at hiding. Their golden brown skin blends perfectly with the desert sand, and they love to burrow just beneath the surface, leaving only their eyes out so they can see. This is how they stay cool during the hottest parts of the day, and it's also how they catch their food. Normally, an Arabian Sand Boa would lie perfectly still, waiting for a lizard or a small rodent to wander by, and when they get close enough, then, as quick as a flash, the boa would strike. But Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa was a little different, especially on days like this where she was enjoying the sun. She was so busy playing with the sun that she often forgot about her hunting. One day, as Fatima danced and spun under the bright desert sky, a small jerboa hopped nearby. The jerboa, with its long legs and tiny ears, bounced across the sand, completely unaware of Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa. It was a perfect chance for her to catch a tasty meal. But Fatima was too busy rolling in the warm sand, with her little eyes squinting at the sun to even notice. The jerboa paused for a moment, sniffed the air, and then hopped away. Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa, still twirling in the sun, didn't even see it go. As the day went on, a small gecko scurried across the sand, darting close to where Fatima was playing. The gecko was fast and nimble, and it would have been a challenge to catch it. But Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa was usually quite good at spotting her prey. Yet once again, she was far too busy squiggling in the sunlight, enjoying the way it warmed her back. She laughed and spun, feeling the warmth on her scales, and completely missed the gecko as it zipped past her. The sun was getting higher and higher in the sky, and the desert was growing hotter by the minute. Most of the animals had already found a shady spot to hide from the heat. Even the sun seemed to be slowing down, its rays becoming lazier as the day grew hotter and hotter. Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa should have been hiding too. Normally, she would burrow deep beneath the cool sand when the desert got too hot. But she was having so much fun with the sun that she didn't even notice the rising temperature. She kept playing, her tiny eyes squinting happily in the sunlight, unaware that the sun was urging her to take a break and cool down. As the day went on, the sun's rays became even hotter, and Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa finally began to feel a little tired. She stopped her playful wriggling, and looked around. The desert was quiet now. The animals had all found their shady spots, and Fatima realized that she hadn't caught a single thing to eat all day. "Oh dear," Fatima whispered to herself. "I've been so busy playing that I forgot to find a meal to eat." Just as she was about to burrow into the sand, a soft voice called out from behind a nearby rock.
"You've been wriggling and rolling in the sun all day, Fatima."
Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa lifted her head in surprise and spotted a small desert gerbil peeking out from behind the rock. The gerbil had been watching her, its tiny whiskers twitching in amusement.
"You should really be looking for some shade and some food, not just playing,"
the gerbil said kindly. Fatima narrowed her eyes playfully. "Well, I can go inside the sand anytime instead of finding shade, and maybe I'll start my hunting right now. You're small, quick, and tasty looking," she teased, inching towards the gerbil. The gerbil giggled and shook its head.
"Oh, no, you don't want to eat me. I'm much too fast for you, Fatima. Besides, there's a plump lizard not too far from here that would be much easier to catch."
Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa tilted her head and said, "A lizard, you say?"
"Yes,"
the gerbil replied, nodding eagerly, hoping that Fatima doesn't choose to eat it instead.
"The lizard loves to bask in the sun, kind of like you, except it stays still. And it's actually not paying attention right now because it's focused on the sun. Kind of like what you were doing when you were playing in the sun. It would be a quick and easy meal for you."
Fatima chuckled and flicked her tail and said to the gerbil, "You're right. You're much too fast and clever for me today. But tell me, why were you watching me all day instead of hiding from the sun like the other animals?" The gerbil scampered a little closer, still keeping a safe distance from Fatima.
"I was curious,"
it said.
"You were playing with the sun so much that you forgot to do what's important, like eating and resting. We all need fun, but we also need food and energy to survive. If you don't eat, you'll get too tired to play tomorrow."
Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa thought about this for a moment and realized the gerbil was right. She had spent so much time playing that she had forgotten about the other important things in her day. "You know," Fatima said with a soft smile, "you're much wiser than I expected. I'll go look for that lizard you mentioned and make sure to eat, so I can play with the sun again tomorrow." The gerbil grinned and gave a little squeak of approval.
"Exactly. Balance is key. There's plenty of time to play, but don't forget to take care of yourself too."
With a friendly nod, the gerbil dashed off, glad that it was still alive and that it was able to give Fatima some good advice, and it disappeared behind a sand dune. While Fatima the Arabian Sand Boa, now much wiser, wriggled through the sand in search of the lizard. The desert was full of both fun and survival, and from now on, Fatima knew she could have the best of both worlds. And so, Fatima learned that while playing with the sun was wonderful, taking care of herself was just as important. And as long as she had a healthy body, a full belly, and a happy heart, she would always be ready to play and hunt again the next day. And the Arabian Sand Boa lived happily ever after. The end. The Arabian Sand Boa is also known as Eric's Jayakari or Jayakar's Sand Boa, and is a species in the family of Boidae. The Arabian Sand Boa is a small snake that can grow up to 15 inches long. They're called Arabian Sand Boas because they live in sandy deserts around the Arabian Peninsula. These snakes are small and they usually grow up to about 15 to 24 inches long. They have short, round bodies, making them look like a chubby worm. Their eyes are located on the top of their heads, so they can peek out of the sand while hiding. Sometimes when you look at these snakes, they look like a child's drawing of a snake. Arabian Sand Boas are mostly nocturnal and are active at night or when it's cooler outside. Arabian Sand Boas live in deserts, particularly in places like the Arabian Peninsula, Egypt, and Iran. Arabian Sand Boas love sandy areas because they enjoy digging and burrowing into the sand. They're great at digging too. They use their heads and push through the sand to stay hidden from the hot sun. When it gets too hot, they burrow under the sand to stay cool, and they often come out at night to find their food when it's cooler, when the temperature isn't as hot. Arabian Sand Boas eat small animals like lizards, mice, and small birds. Arabian Sand Boas hide under the sand with their eyes poking out so they could wait for their prey to get close, and then they strike quickly. After catching their food, they swallow it whole, which can take a long time. Arabian Sand Boa's sandy color helps them blend into the desert, making it hard for predators to spot them. They are very patient hunters and can stay hidden for a long time, waiting for their prey to come by. Arabian Sand Boas move slowly and don't slither really fast like some other snakes. They push through the sand at their own pace. Baby sand boas, called hatchlings, are around 7 to 10 inches long when they're born. The Arabian Sand Boa is one of 3 boas that actually lay eggs. Arabian Sand Boas can live for many years, especially in areas where there's plenty of lizards and small animals to eat. Arabian Sand Boas are non-venomous and are typically safe around humans. The Arabian Sand Boa, which is also named Jayakar Sand Boa, was named Jayakar Sand Boa after Atmaran S.G. Jayakar, an Indian surgeon and naturalist. Arabian Sand Boas are yellowish gray or sandy brown speckled and can have white flecks and banded dark marks on them. Have you seen a real-life Arabian Sand Boa before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye! If your child enjoys cats, drawing, or writing, you might also like my Everyday Cats Journals. They're a 4-book journal series, each with fun covers showing cats with human bodies doing silly and everyday things. Inside, kids can look for little objects from the cover that appear in the top corners of the pages and try to find them all as they write or doodle. The Everyday Cats Journals are available on Amazon. You can find all the details in the show notes.